welcome to the show. I'd like to introduce you to the Enlightened Agent. In true Evan and Yair fashion, we sit here with a little bit of an inclination of what we're going to do, but this is our first go, so we're on the fly. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
On the fly as usual.
So the real goal and intention of starting this show is to bring on great people that invest in personal development, that invest in their spirituality, that invest in becoming a better person, but also happen to intersect with the real estate sector. So Yair and I are both very passionate about personal development. We're passionate about real estate. We come across incredible realtors all the time, developers, government people, and just people like on the street. So we hope to be able to serve this clientele, bring on awesome people to learn lessons from them so we can all collectively grow and become better people. So I'm extremely excited to start the show. Yair, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling happy. Feeling enthusiastic. I feel that a lot of people will resonate with a certain audience will resonate with it. So I'm enthusiastic about it.
I'm also
to share honestly and openly as well.
I'm also a little anxious, like a little fearful.
There he is.
There we go.
I feel a bit fearful too. It's something new.
It's like sitting here in front of this like camera, so I'm excited to grow into this.
Yeah, I feel a bit fearful too because I've done this. I made a YouTube video one time, but it was just me. Like I didn't actually do a recording with someone else, so this is brand new. And a lot of times new things can be scary, but we step into it and then that's it. It gets easy. So
we step into it and we grow. And that's what we want to focus a lot on is we want to bring people onto the show that have really stepped into uncomfortable situations and grown through it and really be able to share those lessons. And I know that I really much love diving into different personal development people that share their stories, and I've grown significantly through books, audiobooks, podcasts, all the above. So big shout out to Pablo.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely big shout out to Pablo for helping us on this, getting us inspired to start on this journey. He is the man when it comes to podcasts, and we're super excited to start on his what's it called again? It's like an accelerator but for podcasts. So we're super excited. We're gonna learn all this information. He's a beautiful person. So big shout out to Pablo. We love you, dude.
Yeah, love you, dude. Yeah, thank you for real. Yeah, amazing. Appreciate it.
So starting on this, Yair is going to be our first guest. Normally Yair and I will be hosting, or maybe we'll alternate because I tend to travel a lot. So, we're going to flow with it and see how that goes. But Yair Brachiyahu is our first guest on the show. Host and guest simultaneously.
Yes, host and guest. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful experimentation. We have a few questions that we're going to run through that's really going to open up his heart, open up his ability to share with us, open up some vulnerability, and really capture the essence of who Yair is as a person and what he brings to the world and what we can learn from him. So I'm very excited for that.
Amazing.
So our first question. Yair, what are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today? It's good. Yeah. Grateful to be here with you, man. It's powerful. Ooh. Grateful to be stepping into this new journey with you, man. Yeah. We've come a long way to be stepping into something new. I'm grateful for that. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Likewise, brother.
Grateful for this new journey. Yeah. New beginnings.
Tell us more.
Yeah. What else am I grateful for today, specifically? when I'm talking about what I'm grateful for, it's like it's the feeling, but like, because I can say logical stuff too, but it's like, what am I really grateful for right now is this. This morning I was feeling fearful stuff with my girlfriend, like had a deep conversation with her because I wasn't like feeling the relationship anymore, and like I was having a lot of stuff that like it got to a point with her where I was just like, do I even want to be in the relationship with her? So I talked with her openly about it, and we had like a 1 hour conversation before our meditation, and it was beautiful. Like obviously at the end it's like realizing that I love her and that I was just holding back a lot of like stuff that mattered to me, like a lot of stuff that bothered me that I didn't say, and it just got bottled up. So grateful for that conversation, to be able to share and grow with her, which is beautiful. Grateful for Spark, my new dog. I was able to train him today, and he listens, and he's really good. So yeah.
I hear you're getting a new art piece for Spark?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Flow with it, but yeah, on Tuesday I'm going with you to maybe get a drawing of him, which will be really beautiful. Especially capturing him as like a puppy is really powerful too.
What's the idea behind getting the painting?
It's a good question. What's the idea behind getting the painting? Just to have a beautiful picture of him that I can remember him by, that, in 6-7 years I'll be able to look at it, or maybe even when he passes away, down the road, whatever, like my first dog, also, yeah, just intuition. Maybe right now I don't really know, but maybe in a couple of years I'll be like, oh, that's why I got it. So right now, just because it's the guy that we're gonna go meet does beautiful paintings, but right now I'm not really so sure I'm gonna get it, so we'll see what happens when I meet with the painter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some other questions.
Yeah, I got you.
So this might be a loaded question. We're experimenting with this one.
Yeah, big time.
So Yair, tell us about your journey. Tell us about your journey, and about, what something that's very interesting is how you.
I like that question.
But let me kind of frame it in a way. So your journey and how it led you here, how it led you into real estate, how it led you into personal development, maybe some of the ebbs and flows that, like, some light bulbs that happened along the way to make you who you are. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, that's a good question. So so what got me, I'll just share about like the main things that made me who I am today and got me to this point. So basically, growing up, it was me, my mom, my dad, and my little brother, and everything was good up until basically when I was 8 years old, my dad got cancer, and it's like, what, just out of nowhere one day, like he was like, oh, I want to have a family meeting with you, your brother, and my mom. So we all got together around the couches at the house and just started talking, and I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I think I was 12 years old, but I was very young. And he just looks at me and he's like, he looks at us, he's like, I'm gonna pass away in a few years, and you're gonna be the man of the house, and to me, and then you have to take care of your mom and all these things. And I'm just like a little kid, and so he just started kind of put that on me as a little kid. So that's what kind of started the creation of who I am. That day was hard for me. And then ever since then, over the next few years before he passed away, he started teaching me like the lessons that he learned growing up. And because he had a business too, he had a restaurant. So he's like, just lessons like when I trusted people and I lent them money, I got fucked over. So don't trust people, and don't give them money, and don't do this and don't do that. So started implanting things into my head. So my childhood was very different. It wasn't like a lot of other kids that just went out and had fun. My childhood was very like, preparing for this day that I'm gonna be the man and take care of people and all this stuff. And any sort of like dream that I had of like, I liked singing. And I was like, I told him that I like singing, and he's like, that's not gonna work. You have to be a businessman. You have to be successful. That's your path. So very much when I was a kid, it was like, your path is business, and just all this pressure of like succeeding because he's gonna die and I have to take over because I'm the only smart one and my mom and brother aren't. So I have to take care of them. So that was big.
What did that pressure as a kid, knowing that your family is going to rely on you, what would that pressure do to you as a kid?
At the time, I kind of liked it. Because I was like, like, when he dies, I'm going to fucking be in his shoes. And I looked up to him, So I was like, I liked, in terms of like an ego aspect, I liked that it was going to be, like, I was the smart one and I was the one that was going to be successful and like step into it. So I didn't really feel scared. It felt like this like, but yeah, definitely the pressure to perform like showed itself after he passed away, and it was like, causing me a lot of anxiety. Like the pressure, like after he passed away, I had girlfriends and stuff, and I was like always fucking scared of like, what if the sex is bad, and what if this is bad, and what if, even in math class, like what if I fail, and what are people gonna think of me? And it was like so pressure of like, what do people think of me if I fuck up? So that was, I think, caused a lot because of when I was a kid and the way I saw things. So yeah, at the time when I was a kid, didn't think much of it. But when I was older, definitely the pressure of performing, and I had a lot of anxiety. Also seeing him sick, I was very scared of getting sick. I'd go to the doctor all the time, like every few months. I would tell my mom, I have this pain in my neck. I might have something. So go to the doctor, nothing's wrong with me. But I was so scared of a ton of things because of the environment that I was in, for sure.
So it seems like now you're, from an external perspective, you're doing well, you're, becoming very successful.
Yeah.
So from the external world, everything looks very good. You talk a lot about having this very anxious internal world. Is that still presenting today? Have you turned that around? How are you feeling inside?
Yeah, so I've turned it around completely. So that was me. That was like the story that I had from like when I was born to like, 18. So it's like up until I got like my real estate license, that's when things started changing for me. So when I was 19, I made the choice to get my real estate license, and I just dropped out of college. Like I didn't even do college. I went to college for a day and I dropped out. It wasn't for me. I got my real estate license, funny enough, because my dad, when I was in high school, told me that real estate would be a good path for me when he was alive. He was like, your mom owns houses. After high school, get your license and help her. He didn't say it so much, but he said it once. So when I was in high school, I would like think of like, damn, what business am I gonna do, and what would I be good in? And real estate just made a lot of sense because that would put me in an environment with other business people. So I just got my license, and that was my only goal. Like I thought when I get the license, I'd be successful. Like I thought the license was gonna make me rich. You know what I mean? Like that's what I thought. So I remember for 2 months straight, it was like grinding to get the license, and I ended up passing the test and getting my license. But then I was like, how do I get business? Like, how do I actually find clients and stuff, And then I looked up on YouTube. A few days after I got the license, I looked up on YouTube how to find new clients in real estate. And I was already in a brokerage, just joined some random brokerage. And the only videos I saw on how to get new clients was cold calling and door knocking. I was scared as fuck of those things, man. Especially with the anxiousness that I had at that time. Like, I remember, like, I thought of cold calling, and I was like, what if I say the wrong thing? And what if I do this? And what if they hang up on me? And then I thought of door knocking. And like, what if I get beat up? And what if this? And what if they scream at me? And what if that? So all of that, I was like, man, there has to be another way to succeed other than doing that. So I kept looking into it, and then like a day after that, I realized, I was like, dude, I have to do one of these things. And so yeah, I was really scared of it, but I really wanted to succeed. So I ended up picking cold calling, and I started doing it, which was like really scary at first. Like the first cold call, man, I remember like shaking as I was dialing the fucking number, bro. Like that was me, man. That was me 2 years ago, you know?
Cold calling, I'll tell you guys, cold calling is a scary thing to do for the first.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, same
thing for you, like that. Like I was fucking nervous,
dude. It's nerve wracking. I mean, you're just like calling someone out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like likewise, I've had some anxious tendencies that I've worked on, and yeah, it could be a nerve wracking task.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
Yeah. So, and also not only that, the real estate people I was working with gave me a script where I was basically lying. Like I was calling up for sale by owner. I was like, hey, my name is Yair. I have buyers, and I'm looking to do a preview of your house. I saw it came on the market to see if it's a good fit for my clients. I didn't have any fucking buyers. So I'm like, yo, I'm lying to these people, and I don't know about real estate. The people I'm calling probably know more about real estate than me. I didn't know anything. Anyways, I started calling. And so I did that for a few months, and I started getting comfortable with calling. And I met, after like a month or two of doing that, I actually met a wholesaler in my real estate office that I was in at the time. And he said he'd mentor me, but he never did. So I actually started learning about this new thing called wholesaling. And I was like, dude, this seems way better than being an agent, because I was so like, the agent thing wasn't working. It's like, damn, I could just make offers on people's houses and like do that. So I was like, oh, that sounds good. But the people that said they were going to teach me didn't. And then I ended up meeting this other Israeli wholesaler guy that said he would teach me. So I started working for him, and I stopped the agent stuff, and I started like calling off market stuff. But right around the time Corona hit, like around that time, we hadn't done a deal yet. I was working for him for like 3 months, fucking driving around Miami, trying to like driving for dollars. You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's basically like there's this app, and you're driving around in a neighborhood, and any house that you see that looks distressed, like the fucking roof is fucked or the windows are broken or whatever, you flag it on the app, and then it gives you the address, so you could skip trace it later. Okay. So I would fucking get hundreds of properties like all day, bro. I was calling and driving, and I got like 2 really good properties, but the guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He told me he did wholesaling, but he didn't. Like he was completely new to him. He's like, oh, I've done deals before, and he didn't. So 2 months in of working with him, Corona hits, and he's like ghosted me. So I called him, and I was like, dude, what's happening, you know? And he's like, oh, Corona, it's just not a good time to do real estate. Quit. So dude, at this point, man, it was like probably like 6 months into me having my license, or yeah, around 6 months, like 4 to 6 months, no success. Like I've tried all these things, nothing's really working. So I stopped doing real estate. Like I just started playing video games again and going into these bad habits and just doing all-nighters with high schoolers, and I think I started smoking weed again. Like just fucking stop working on myself. And yeah, what completely changed, and I'm giving a long story because you asked about my journey, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give these people fucking the whole picture, you know? So what completely changed for me was, so I was basically 3 months in that Corona time was playing video games and doing nothing with my life. Like fucking completely doing nothing. No working out, no nothing, just bumming out. Waking up at like 3 p.m., going to sleep at like 4 a.m., video gaming all day. And one day I just felt so sick of like who I've been. Like I felt so like disgusted by it, of like, wow, I'm like not going towards my goals. I'm not achieving what I said I was going to do. I'm not doing real estate. I'm not being the successful person that I wanted to be. So I was talking to my uncle. He lives in Israel. I was talking to him on the phone. And I remember I was like outside the house just talking to him and telling him what I've been doing. And he knew I wanted to be successful. And he knew my dad like very well. So he's like, dude, like well, you just gotta stop playing video games. Like just stop playing video games and just figure out what you want to do. And I was like, but it's Corona and I'm home all day. What am I gonna do? Just like, what am I gonna do if I'm bored? And he's like, dude, just sit there in your room until you figure out what the fuck you're gonna do with your life. Like that. So I was like, all right. you know, fuck, you're right. I do have to stop playing video games. So I got off the phone. Like, that's when, like, hope hit me. And, like, I felt like, all right, I'm going to do something to get out of this. So I started texting all the people that I got connected with during the time I was working in the real estate field. I met people, right? So this one lady introduced me during that time to this guy named Freddie, but I didn't end up working with him. And he was a wholesaler, and he was successful. Like, he was doing deals. So during that time, after the phone call with my uncle, I thought of him, and I'm like, man, maybe that guy could teach me stuff and be good for me. So I hit him up. And then 3 days after I hit him up, he answered me, and I met with him, and ever since then, my life changed. Because he actually was the guy I was looking for. He was the guy... Because during that period of nothing working, I knew all I was looking for was a mentor. Now talking about it, like, I remember. I just was looking for someone that can... I knew I was fucked, and I knew I was, like, not going in the right path, and so I had all this mindset shit.
How did Freddie change your life?
Because he taught me about personal growth.
And so
he taught me about personal growth.
So explain that.
Yeah.
I'll
explain what happened with Freddie.
Growth.
Yeah. So the first 3 weeks with Freddie, he had me doing basic stuff like everyone else did that I worked with, of like, oh, make calls and sell these deals, and we have this property under contract, so find new realtors that might have buyers for it. So I was working, right? I was working like 8 hours a day for him. I was like hustling, bro, doing everything, because I really believed in like him being able to help me. So I really went all in. But then I remember one day there was this deal that I had found buyers for or something, and then thoughts started coming in of like, oh, what if Freddie fucks me over? What if he doesn't pay me after we do a deal? And I believed those thoughts so much because I had anxiety at the time, and I didn't know how to have self-awareness and realize that those thoughts are just fearful thoughts. So I believed the thoughts. But I didn't keep it to myself. I ended up calling him, and I was like, hey man, I'm having all these fearful thoughts about you, and you know, I'm thinking, what if you fuck me over, and what if this? And I know they're not real. That's what I told him. I'm like, I know, it's my whole life I knew that these thoughts are just fucking fake thoughts, but I didn't know how to stop letting them get me emotionally. I believed them, but I also knew they were fake. It was weird.
So you were conscious at the time. You were unconsciously conscious.
Yeah, I was my whole life, dude. I knew I had thoughts, and I knew the thoughts.
Okay.
But I went to psychologists my whole life before that. I went to therapists and told them about the thoughts, but none of them were able to give me the real guidance that I was looking for. So I told him I'm having all these thoughts, whatever, and so this is the moment that changed my life right here.
This is the moment.
This is the moment. This is the moment. I know I've been talking a lot. This is the moment. Talking to him about the thoughts, and he goes, you know why you're having those thoughts? And I'm like, why? Because up until that point, I thought it was since my dad was sick and all these hard times I went through. That's what I blamed for my anxiety. And he goes, you're having those thoughts because you're choosing to have those thoughts. And I'm like, he said that, right? The first person that ever told me, like, accountability, like, you're fucking choosing to think those things. And I was like, all right. So if I'm choosing to think these thoughts, then I must be able to stop choosing that, right? So what do I do? Like, if it's my choice, if I'm the one that's doing this to myself, and it's not because of all these things that I blamed, then what do I do to change it? So he said, every time you get a thought that you don't like, that you don't want, just say cancel and replace it with another thought. And this was like a 40-minute conversation I had with him, but I'm shortening it, right? So literally after that day, every day I'd wake up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and for an hour or two I'd go on a walk, and all I would do is observe my thoughts. What if you get sick? No, I'm healthy and I'm strong. What if you die? No, I'm healthy and I'm strong, I'm invincible. Oh, well, what if Freddie fucks you over? No, I love it. I love Freddie, I trust Freddie. All day long I would do this, bro. All day. Combine that with I started reading, because Freddie was big on reading. So he taught me, he was like, oh, all he didn't listen to music. In his car, he would listen to books. When he'd work out, he'd listen to books. Always listening to books. Started listening to books. I read a book a week. I would read in the morning, like paper books, and I would listen to Audible all day. So I was hitting like a book or two a week. And then in the books I started reading, I came across meditation. So I started meditating 5 or 10 minutes. It's just, ever since that conversation, spiral effect after spiral effect.
Well, what's interesting is you talk about the cancel, right? The cancel effect of choosing what we think about.
Yeah.
Choosing what you thought about. crazy. I had a very similar awakening moment that helped me become who I am. Like this was right around when COVID hit, and I had a very strong personal identity when it came to real estate and business success. I was tying my whole identity to business success, and I wanted to take over all of Jacksonville and Springfield and be this big developer. And what it was really doing was just making me an anxious mess because I was just not succeeding. And just this feeling of lack. So through that, I found a personal development coach, and he recommended this book to me called Letting Go by David Hawkins. And he talks about letting go of these repressed and suppressed thoughts and emotions that we have acquired since we were growing up. So I remember, COVID had hit, things had slowed down, I lost a few deals that I really wanted, that I was tying my identity to. I was just really not in a good spot. And anytime that negative thought or emotion came up, I would just say, let go. Let go. And so I literally created a conscious practice where I must have done this for 2 weeks straight, where literally I just said let go in my head every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds. Like that became my job. And once I was able to just let go, I remember I'd be swimming in the pool and I'd be saying like, oh, like this, should I do the deal? Should I not do the deal? And that mind process going like this. It could be the same thing with cold calling. Should I cold call? I'm so afraid. It's like the idea behind it is don't even give your rational mind the time of day, because it can talk to itself for fucking years. So let go. And once I let go, it brings that consciousness back to the present moment. And when we let go of those negative thoughts, when we let go of this rambling mind, all we have in the present moment is peace and love and joy and optimism.
Yeah. And
I attribute a lot of our collective success to that growth that we've done internally, because what is success? It is this growth internally.
100%, man. Like, the second I started doing the growth is the second magic started happening in my life. That's period. Without the growth, I wouldn't be here today. So, yeah, man, like what you said about letting go for 2 weeks, I think by me doing the no, saying no to the thoughts, I would say it out loud, like, what if this happens? I'd say no, and then I'd replace it.
So some people would look at you like you're crazy, yeah?
Dude, like I was nuts because I said it out loud, but I did it for 6 months. It wasn't like, and I'll also say, when I started working with Freddie, I literally stopped hanging out with people. Like, I cut off all my friends. I stopped talking to my mom and my brother, and I was literally living with them. I just went ghost, and all I would do is just read the books, talk to Freddie, and do the real estate stuff. Like, I just said no to everything else. And I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I'd go to sleep at 8:00 p.m. And all I would do, bro, is if I wasn't, like, while I was working, I'd be observing my thoughts. And if I was, like, about to make a call, and my mind was like, what if this happens? I'd be like, no, I make the calls easily, and I sell the deals easily, and then I'd make the call. It's like all day long, because I was really a fucking mess at the time. So I had to do a full immersion within myself.
So did you have did you have instant success there, or did it still take some time?
No, not at all. Like when I started working with Freddie, a few months in of working with him and doing all this work, I think like I literally only made $500. My first ever deal in real estate, this was after like a year and a half of being in real estate, was $500. $500. Like, I worked so hard for that deal too, man. I remember marketing it to the whole world, bro. Facebook, everything. And I finally got a buyer. But yeah, we only made $2,000 and Freddie gave me like 25%. Gave me a little more because he's like, dude, this guy worked his ass off. Let me give him a little more of the deal, But I didn't want the 500. I didn't care about the 500 because I'd grown up with like, my dad had a lot of, as a family, we have a lot of money. I've always been taken care of with financials. But I cared that I did the deal. That was what mattered. I actually got a deal. But no, yeah, even the 8 months I was with Freddie, the success was the personal growth and the amount that I changed. But in terms of financial success, no. like no financial success at all until I moved here to Jacksonville. So
tell us more about the personal growth journey. So it seems like you had this awakening.
Yeah, with
like,
that conversation.
With that conversation, boom, I got this. Tell us about how that continued to grow, your personal growth journey, and how that.
Sure. So yeah, so after that conversation, like I said, I started waking up at 4 and I started going to sleep at 8. And during that time frame, I had 2 workouts. So I'd work out as soon as I woke up, and I'd work out in the afternoon. And I would meditate in the morning, and I would meditate in the evening. So basically I had a calendar, and I filled up my whole calendar with activities and stuff to do. So I put all my attention into me, and I stopped paying attention to the outer world and to friends and to all those things that I used to do. I deleted all my social media. I literally just went ghost to everything, and I just put all my attention into my growth as a person, and that's what changed my life. So
But is that sustainable?
no, it wasn't sustainable at all. Like, I just did that for the time that I was with Freddie. So yeah, I did that when I was with Freddie, and then being with Freddie, it got to a point where I was only making 10% of the deal. So after 8 months of being with him, I think I closed like 8 to 10 deals with him, and each deal I would make like $1,000, but I would bust my ass. So I started, like you said, I was very attached to business. I thought that business would make me happy. So I was like, oh, once I make money and stuff, I'll be happy. That's what causes happiness, right? Even though I was doing growth, I still thought that. So all the growth I was doing was actually, I was doing it because I wanted to succeed in business. So that was the motivator.
So it was personal growth because you wanted to succeed in business.
I wasn't doing it to be happy. I was doing it because I thought business would make me happy. So still very twisted, but I was growing. So it was okay. So 8 months in of being with Freddie, I felt like I got really good at what I was doing. Like, I would be able to get a seller to sign a contract, and I'd be able to sell the property to the buyer without Freddie. So I knew how to do the whole process without my mentor. So I was like, oh, I talked to Freddie, and I was like, hey, let's go 50-50. You know, I was like, I'm sick of getting 10%. I want 50% of the deals that I do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, you're not there yet. You need to wait some time, and you need to show me that you can really close these deals. So my intuition at that point told me to leave. So I trusted my intuition. So what I started doing was I started going back to what I did before I met Freddie in terms of like being an agent again and like doing the realtor stuff. So I started calling for sell by owners again. And I still was living that 4 a.m. sleeping at 8 p.m. routine after I left Freddie. But I was able to do my own deals. And the reason why I left him is because I was like, oh, I'm not happy. So once I do my own deals and I make more, I'll be happy. Right? Mm-hmm. So I left him, kept my same routine, and I closed 2 deals by myself. And the first one I made like $4,500, which was more. It was like 4 times more than what I made with Freddie. But I still wasn't happy. Like, I closed the deal and I was like there's no happiness, you know? And I closed another deal. Like, I made like another 4,000, right? Still wasn't happy. And around this time, right before I left Freddie, I started getting into Joe Dispenza. And like higher levels of like mindset training. And Freddie didn't know about Joe Dispenza either. So that was another reason why I left. I also felt like Freddie, I learned as much as I could in terms of growth from Freddie. And I saw things that Freddie didn't know that were on a higher level in terms of like stepping into new things. So I felt like I really wanted to step into that as well. But yeah, started becoming this question in my head of like, could I be happy without the real estate? Because I kept closing these deals and working so hard all day long. And I got myself a life coach at the time, personal growth life coach. And I would tell him like, man, I want to change the world. I want to do big things. And he's like, why do you want to do that? I'm like, oh, because I can be happy. And he's like, dude, you can have all that right now. So people started telling me like, you can be happy. And Joe Dispenza, be happy before the things happen. So I started really seeing people say it. So I started asking.
Become the person that you want to be now. It's like,
yes, Yeah.
We have to become the person that we see in the future, and the external manifest who we are. So if we want to be someone, we're not going to get that. We need to be the person today, and then the external will manifest around us.
Yeah. So as I started asking myself these questions, I started taking the gas pedal off of the real estate stuff that I was doing. I literally was waking up at 4 a.m. every day relentlessly for like months, like 8 months, 9 months. And I stopped. Like, I started being open to new possibilities with that question of, could I be happy today? Started waking up a little later, and then this guy that I cold called, after I met with him, because I was going on like 3 appointments a day with for sober owners. I was doing a lot. I met with this one Israeli guy that like wanted me to help him with his rentals and wanted to start other businesses with me. So I was like, oh, fuck it. Like, let me look into this. So I stopped making cold calls. I stopped waking up early. I started waking up at like 8 o'clock and started just changing the way I see things. And I started looking for new opportunities at that time. And just started really being open to new opportunity. And I started realizing that I don't have to go crazy and work all the time and do all those things anymore. So, and I was doing meditation every day in the morning. I was doing Joe Dispenza meditations. Mm-hmm. So I started really like thinking of who I was going to be and living that more. I remember I had woken up one day at like 5 a.m. and I went on one of my walks where I was like talking to myself, and I told myself, I was like, man, I'm finding a new opportunity. I'm gonna leave my house, because I don't want to live with my mom anymore. I'm gonna leave the house and have a new opportunity, and it's gonna work out this time. Like, I'm getting my opportunity finally, And I had all these opportunities in front of me that I thought were gonna be good. I had like this investor guy that wanted to work with me and all these things. And I had a lot of leads too in real estate, like from all the cold calls I was doing after I left Freddie. So I had all these opportunities. And then I remember like it was like 11 a.m. and one of my family friends called me that day. It's like out of nowhere, And he's like, oh, I met this guy in Jacksonville. His name's Evan, and I feel that he'd be a really good fit for you, and this is your new opportunity, and all this shit. For the second I was looking for something, right? But I was like, I don't think so. I have all these other opportunities and people that want to work with me, but give me his number. Well, I'll talk to him. If anything, I'll work with him down the road, maybe. So I ended up talking to Evan. And we just spoke and started talking about personal growth and how real estate isn't really what we care about, but we care more about the growth. And within 2 days, I just moved to Jacksonville like that. And
into this house.
To this house, yeah. And it's just, there's so much that happened. That's why saying it, like when I say it in this like 30 minutes, there's so much going through my head of like what really was going on with me during all these periods.
What really was going on? Like what was really going on? Like, drop all the external bullshit. Like what was really happening
when we spoke, or
just this whole story? Like what is it that, like, to these new realtors that are like tuned into the show right now, and the people that are here listening, like, if they're gonna take home something from this,
okay,
what do they take home?
Okay, that's a good question. Basically, my whole life, this is really good. My whole life, I thought that my success in business would cause me happiness. That's what I thought. And the second I let that concept go, and I just started being happy, things started happening for me with really big ease. Like, I stopped having to work hard, and life just started creating opportunities for me, and things started being really easy and effortless. So I met Evan, and when I moved here, he actually was so different. Like, he didn't have the mindset of, I need to succeed in business. He was like, dude, you could do whatever you want, and I'll still love you. So that was a different mindset. But
well, is it a practice what you preach thing? That's what I told you, but I was still dealing with
I know, it's hilarious. I know, it's so funny. But look, that's what changed everything. If someone's going to take something away, it's once I started being happy today, for nothing, for no reason. I was just like, why do I want to be successful? Because I want to be happy? Okay, that's it. I'll just be happy today. Fuck everything else. The second I started doing that, boom, like this. My life just... And things started happening in my life on the outer world, like deals closing and meeting you, but it didn't matter because I was worthy of it already. I was already happy. I didn't need that to be happy. It's not like things happened and then I was like, oh, I'm so happy that these things are happening. And it's just like, yeah, of course they're happening. There's just confidence about it because I was waking up every day happy. And I started changing the way I think.
So how did that transition happen? So you land in Jacksonville and you're like, all right, and you're still in this like go, work hard, need to be successful in business. Like, where did that magic shift happen?
So I think I manifested the Jacksonville opportunity because I started letting the concept go of having to work hard and I need business. But I still had that lingering. Like, you remember when we met, I was still very much like, I want to be successful, and I told you all that crap.
I want to be successful, I want to be a partner, 50-50 partners, 50-50 partners.
Oh, well, that's still me, though.
But then you manifested it.
Yeah.
Once you let go of it.
To let go of it. So this is another big thing. I remember one day me and Evan were at the dog park together, and I was just like feeling really low that day, like really fearful and really like scared of things, and because I started feeling like maybe I should just stop working and just really go internal. But I thought that Evan wouldn't be okay with that. I thought he'd want me to leave or something. That's what I thought, because I was like, why would he? I thought he wanted me to come here so we can make money. But when I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm not really feeling all this stuff anymore. I just want to take time to myself. He's like, dude, fuck it. We don't have to close the deal for 6 months. Like, do your thing. When he said that, I was kind of shocked. I was like, wait, you don't want me to perform and like make money and do all these things that I thought you wanted me to do? You're okay with me just taking time to myself and just working on myself, and still paid for the house and all these things and pay for my food and all these things you were doing at the time. I was like, damn, this guy, really sees like potential in me. Even though I wasn't doing the stuff that Goma and all these people told you I do, and like in terms of like working hard, I wasn't doing that anymore. So yeah, man, after that conversation, I remember just like, I felt so like loved for me. And it was the first time I ever felt that way. Like, I don't have to perform. I'm just loved because I'm loved. And I remember like really stepping into my happiness at that point, man. Like, just, I would walk around Springfield and just smile. I was just like saying hi to people. I was like, literally my goal was just to walk around and say hi to people and spark love in other people. And I stopped doing a single thing of real estate. Like, stopped doing everything. And I really showed myself that I could be happy, man. I really showed myself that, like, yeah, everything I need is now. I had $1,000 in my bank account. I had nothing.
Did that...
But I had everything. I had nothing, but I had everything at the same time.
So it seems like you went through this incredible shift in mindset, and you let go of business, and that happiness was there. So from that mindset, were you able to manifest? Did the external things start coming? Yeah, so I'm getting there now. So basically, I was doing externally nothing with my life. I was just happy and just like had these new realizations. And then one day I had this meditation that like I really saw myself happy. Like I had this meditation, it was a Joe Dispenza one, and I just saw myself, this is the vision. I saw myself on a street, like just on a street by myself with just clothes on, nothing else, and I was just smiling. And it was like the first time I ever envisioned myself happy like that, without anything happening, without friendship, without a business, it was just me happy. And I remember crying and like really feeling that vision like deeply. Like, wow, that's me now. I'm a happy person.
Like, and I believed it. It was like almost as if I was living it in the present moment. Like, it was such a strong vision. And at the same time, Evan had this this deal that he wanted me to market. It was this 4-acre deal that you always wanted me to market, right? And so yeah, like around that same time, I was already marketing that deal. So all I did was I would just wake up, just do my happy stuff, just be happy, and I would call this like one buyer for that deal that I had found. And I was so like flow and in the moment at that time. Like I just didn't care about closing deals. I just did not care. You remember, like, there wasn't an ounce in my body that cared about. It was a complete shift.
Yeah.
I used to want to close deals so badly, and then I went from that to I don't even want to close deals. I could care less if they fucking close. I don't care about making money. I just want to be happy. That was my only goal. So yeah, I guess I'll go a little deeper into that deal of what happened. So there's this self-storage deal, and Evan kept telling me to market it, and I was like, nah, whatever. And I kept just doing my thing. And then Evan's like, dude, I'm telling you, market this deal. Like, this is a deal that you could sell easily. So one day I just had the intuition of like, you know what? All right, I'll do it. So it was a self-storage deal. And I'm like, dude, how do I find self-storage buyers? I've never done that before. And he's like, just look up self-storage near me. Like self-storage facilities near me. So I looked up self-storage facilities near me on Google. And I see 20 facilities. Only 20 in Jacksonville. And 10 of those facilities was this company called Atlantic Self-Storage, right? So I remember I was calling all the facilities, and then I was like, dude, like, this Atlantic Self-Storage company has 10 facilities. Like, if I get that guy, like, there's a big chance they'll buy it, you know? So I remember calling them, and Evan walked past me, and he's like, dude, like, don't waste your time with that company. They're like a corporate company. You're not going to get them to buy it. Like, just skip it. But I remember just since I was so present and not reliant on the deal closing for happiness, and I just was so in the flow of the moment, I had this intuition of like, no, this is the buyer. Literally, I'd never spoken to them in my life, and just for some reason I was like, this is it, you know? So I called them, and I got a secretary, and that secretary led me to another secretary, and I finally called a number, and that number was like extension 1, extension 2, extension 3, extension 4, land acquisitions. I was like, oh, I got them. You know, they have a land acquisitions fucking thing. So I click the land acquisitions, and I get this guy that works for that department. And I send him the deal, and he's like looking at it, right? And then I followed up. All I did every day, I built out a system for me and Evan, a CRM. And all I did every day was follow up with that one buyer. That's all I did, 2 minutes a day. I worked 2 minutes a day at this point of my life. Wake up, live my day, go to Chipotle, go walk on the street, you know, spread love to people. And then I was like, oh, the buyer. So I called that one buyer. And it got to the point, I remember Evan coming up to me and being like, yo, like, you gotta go find other buyers, bro. Like, you think you're gonna sell the deal? Like, yeah, you have one buyer that's potentially interested, but you gotta find more. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, this is the buyer. This is the buyer. So I didn't find any other buyers. I just kept sticking to that one, to Atlantic. And then I had followed up one day, like it was like one of the follow-ups. And the guy was like, oh, I'm looking this over. Like I sent it to the higher up team and they're looking at it. We'll get back to you in a few days. So I followed up in a few days. And I got in a few days later, this like the manager of like the deals had called me and he's like, we're making an offer. So I was like, oh shoot, you know what I'm saying? And think if I close this deal, right? Think about me at the time. If I close this deal, I make $45,000. My biggest deal in Miami was $5,000. So I was working way less, like I wasn't even working pretty much, and I was about to make like 10x the money. So it's pretty crazy. And then yeah, that deal ended up coming together.
With beautiful manifestation, I just remember Yair exactly how he describes it, where he's just like working 2 minutes a day. I'm like, yo, Yair, you know, they're a good buyer, but sometimes it takes a lot more buyers to, get one to land. And he's like, no, I've got the intuition, I've got the manifestation, like these are the buyers. I'm like, all right, like, do what you do. And turns out they ended up coming through. And even before once they made the offer, everything, like once they actually made the offer, he was like, the deal's closed.
Before that.
Before the signed contract, before the
offer. Yeah. Literally when I was following up with the guy, when I followed up with the guy and he said that they're looking the deal over, that's when I said the deal's closed.
Yeah. And it's a pretty beautiful method of manifestation. I think one thing that I took from that is a lot of people preach, hey, like, don't count your chickens before they hatch, don't do this.
Freddie used to tell me that.
Yeah, don't get, and I understand from a point of view, it's like, it can be a roller coaster, you get very excited before something happens, but at the same time, I recommend, like, let's say that it's done. Like, let's manifest stuff into reality. Now it's a different story than me and you acting freaking fools in the house after we got like 3 or 4 deals going under contract. Boom, 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 going absolutely nuts, and then 3 of them fall out of contract.
I know.
So that like stuff like that does happen, but this is what's so beautiful about life. It's a journey, and one thing that I've learned from you is this beautiful view of like, hey, the deal has happened, and this optimistic mindset of we don't need to we don't need to let the emotions go too high because there's this volatility in it, but yes, this manifestation of the deals happened, and doing it from a place of love, doing it from a place of I am enough, doing it from a place of we don't need the deal because we're internally happy. And once you did that, man, the results showed. And as you mentioned, the external manifestation delivered to you. Hey, here's $45,000, and your workload was next to nothing. So it was a beautiful manifestation that's continued to build on it.
Yeah, and to add to what he just said, right? Because there's a lot there. When I was in Miami and I was getting excited about a deal closing, it was very different. It was like excitement of like, wow, that deal's gonna bring me happiness. I would get an offer on a property. Yeah, I fucking did a deal, But it was different. It was like that offer was gonna bring me happiness in my life. So I was very much needy of that deal. But me saying the deal is done on this deal in Jacksonville was very different. It was like, yeah, I closed it. Not because the deal was going to bring me happiness, it's because I knew I closed it. I didn't care if it closed. I still didn't care if it wasn't going to close. I didn't give a shit. But I just knew it was going to close. But it was from such a place of like, I'm already happy. I don't need the money. And yeah, it's just really powerful. There's 2 ways to come at it.
And I think rolling off of that, not needing it, but still being grateful for the deal closing and for the abundance that it brings. So I think a cool question I have for you is like, all right, so you get $45,000 in the bank. What do you do? Like, what's the first couple things that you do, or how'd you allocate that money?
It's a good question. So before that deal went under contract, like right before, this is really cool. A few days before, I found this life coaching company, but their events were really expensive, and I really had a good feeling about these people's events. Like, but we're talking $5,000 for like a 4-day event. But I knew that this would change my life. And I had the vision of me being happy that I told you about. A day after that vision, I had met the life coaching company. So I was like, oh fuck, like this is it. This is what's gonna get me to that vision of me being happy. And I was talking to the main life coach of the company, and I'm like, we were talking about his university, which was like $30,000. And I was like, oh, maybe one day you'll like adopt me and like give me the $30,000, because I don't have money at the time. And he's like, oh, maybe you'll close a deal and get the money from the trees. You know what I mean? Like maybe you'll pull money from a tree and make it happen and do, make magic happen. and get the money. And man, a week after that is when we got the offer for that $45,000 deal. And I was like, what the, mind blown, man. I didn't do any work. All I did was imagine myself being happy. And the universe started creating what I needed to get to that vision. I needed money so that I could spend it on my personal growth. So the universe gave me what I needed. It's so beautiful. And yeah, that's what I did with the money. I spent $10,000 for 2 retreats. I went to Joe Dispenza, an event to Joe Dispenza, and then I went to an event with that life coaching company. So that's $10,000, and the rest has been spent on just things I need, new experiences, paying this meditation room, paying you back.
This beautiful painting.
Yeah, paying him back on all the, he lended me a lot of money before that deal happened, so paying you back on stuff. But yeah, mainly just spent the money on growth stuff. Bought courses for myself, invested in myself with that money. Yeah.
And invested into our business.
Into the business too.
Into our business, because now we started a brokerage.
Yeah, we started a brokerage after that.
We have an employee that we staff right now that's on salary. That's really cool.
Yeah. She's amazing, man. Leah's incredible.
Leah's awesome. Shout out to Leah.
Big shout out.
Shout out to Leah.
Yeah, but the moral of the story, and I can talk about this for years because it's like literally so much happened to make the big shift in my life happen, but I just started being happy instead of waiting for something outside of me to be happy. And the second I started being happy today in the present moment, everything else took care of itself, and anything I thought of that I chose to create happened in very short time. And I remember when the $45,000 hit my bank account, me and Evan were driving down to Miami together. It just came into our bank account at the same time. You got the 45, I got the 45.
Were you driving to Miami, or were you driving back from North Carolina? No, we were
driving to Miami.
No, we were driving from North Carolina to Jacksonville.
No.
We just went on that camping trip, no?
No, we were driving to Miami.
Okay.
I'm 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember when I saw the money in my bank account, there was like very little happiness. Like I had felt way happier during like my meditations and stuff. So that showed me of like yeah, I'm worthy of it. Like I'm not sitting here fucking jumping around and letting this fucking money make me happy. Like the money came when I was ready to make that kind of money.
Tony Robbins talks a little bit about this, about like tying our happiness to goals. And the thing that he says all the time is like, okay, so we achieved that goal. How long are we happy for after we achieve that goal? And he goes, 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 hours, 6 minutes, right?
6 months.
And it's like, it's like that happiness fades so fast. And this, something I'll chime in on that I've learned recently is on goal setting. And with goal setting, when we tie our happiness to these external goals, these arbitrary numbers of I need to make this much money, I need this, I need to like weigh this much, I need this. When we hit that number, there's a little bit of happiness, but then we got to set the bar again, and we're constantly behind the ball, and we're constantly not enough. I'm constantly not enough when I am tying myself to real estate deals, to this, to that. So recently we met up with Kurt and the rest of the crew, and we do this mastermind, 8 of us, that Sean Pointer had the idea to put together, which is incredible.
Shout out to Sean Pointer.
Shout out to Sean, and shout out to Kurt for spreading this knowledge, which is the focusing on the inputs, right? Like focusing on what we can do. So we can work on our happiness. Like we can work on being in the present moment. We can work on our consciousness. We can work on meditation. We can work on our internal self-love. And those are all things that we can control on a day-to-day basis. And when we do that, when you invest in, what's Mark's company again?
Encompass Life.
When you invest,
big shout out to Encompass Life. Highly recommend them.
So when you invest in Encompass Life, or you go on like YouTube and watch Tony Robbins, and then take that and bring that into your day-to-day meditation or all these different resources, those are things we can control. And when we do that, the external naturally manifests. So I've learned from a goal setting perspective is, hey, before I would set these arbitrary numbers, I needed to close this much in deals, I need to do this, I need to do that. But now all I do is I know what's important in my life and I focus on doing those things every day. How am I doing in my relationships today? Did I invest time into my relationship with Brittany, my girlfriend, my beautiful girlfriend? Lovely girlfriend.
Big shout out.
Big shout out.
Shout out to Brittany.
Love you, Brittany. Did I invest time into our relationship? Did I invest time into my relationship with Leah, our employee? Did I invest time into my health? Did I make it to the gym today? Was I conscious when I was eating? Did I meditate? Did I do these things? And what I notice is when I invest in these things make me happy. And when I'm happy, then we just walk down the street and all of a sudden someone comes like, oh, hey, I'm looking to sell a piece of property. Yeah. And I'm like, sweet. I'm like, oh, I got a buyer, I got to sell. And just like these manifestations happen. Yeah. Or we have these like beautiful ideas like starting this podcast, which I think some incredible things are going to come out of it. Yeah. And this idea actually of like, hey, we want to invest into marketing and let's talk to Pablo because Pablo's the man and so we meet up with Pablo for a 6 a.m. run on the beach. And it's nice and cool and we're running. Pablo's talking to us about this and we sit down and just this energy, this vibration is around us. But if we sit there and we're so focused on like we need to make like $500,000, like how are we gonna make $500,000?
Yeah, we're literally missing what's
we're missing
right in front
everything.
of us.
It's just like we're just like and just like no, I can't go to this meeting with Pablo because I need to make 50 phone calls.
Exactly.
But where is that 50 phone calls leading us? It might just be the 2 minutes of the right thing. And when we are feeling love, when we're feeling happiness, it's going to lead us. And even if the world falls apart around us, if we feel love and internal happiness, we will be okay and we will be able to be okay ourselves and inspire those around us to all come together and live beautiful lives.
Yeah, dude, I choose to know how to explain it, man, because I'm thinking of like the magic that's been happening and I'm like, dude, how do I put this into words, man? Because it's like, I'm telling people, okay, once you be happy, things happen. But it's like, dude, it's deep, man. It goes really deep. But
where my thought process is like, we're talking about, we're still figuring out like who we're bringing on to the show and everything like that. But I'm thinking now more like, hey, let's bring on some just like personal development people because we're talking about how do we put this in words. Let's bring on some great resources that do know, like, I think we're getting good at it, but let's bring on other resources that know how to translate what we're saying and what they're saying in different methods and techniques.
Bro, let's put people that know mindset stuff, man. That's a valuable thing to talk about because, we're doing real estate, but really what we're doing is being happy, and real estate's just something we're doing and spreading love through, but like putting the importance on being happy is something that changed my life because literally like if I say I'm gonna make calls today, right? I used to like force myself to make the call even if I was fearful because I was like, oh, I have to make these calls to be successful, so I don't care how I feel, I'm just gonna make these calls. But that led a lot of times to people hanging up on me because people can feel the energy, people not wanting to work with me, all these different things. Now that I'm like, my number one goal every day is to stay happy and to stay loving and to stay in the energy that I love being in. So if I am not in that energy and I'm feeling fearful or angry, I literally won't make the calls. I'm like, all right, take the day to myself. I'm going to go on a walk or I'm going to go change my energy in some way. And if I don't, then I won't do the work. I'll just work tomorrow. And having that mindset changes everything because even if I just work for 30 minutes, that 30 minutes of happiness and love in when I'm working and when I'm making calls is like 50 million hours of being in a fearful state. It's like fucking exponential, man.
Yeah.
So the second I let go and I'm happy while I'm doing stuff, people can feel that. People feel that energy and magic starts to happen and synchronicities start happening.
And I have the feeling most of the people here watching, I mean, basically everyone, like, I was going to talk about, like, 9 to 5, but this applies to even people that aren't, like, 9 to 5 jobs. It's, like, our effectiveness, right? Especially in, like, a sales-oriented position, like, it has nothing to do with the time that we put in. Nothing to do with time. So you think, like, I got to put in 10 hours, I put in this. It's like, no.
Yeah. I used to think that,
It really is, like, one phone call, one manifestation, one thing, and when we're really feeling it, the world just brings it to us in a really crazy way. Not crazy, cancel, right? Cancel. Because it's not crazy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Man. And I'm grateful for, and bring it back to gratitude. Yeah. I'm grateful to be right here, right now, having just wrapping up our first podcast. Something beautiful, and who knows where this is leading, but all I know is the energy is really awesome. Yeah,
like, it's funny, like, the first, like, up until, like, 5 minutes ago, I felt myself, like, talking very fast, and I felt the nervousness of, like, I felt like I was a little all over the place for sure during this podcast, but I could see myself in the next few podcasts really stepping into this and being able to share in a beautiful way and in a calm way that can resonate with the audience on a deeper level. And
you know what I also realized, and this is your tone of conversation and voice and emotions directly correlated with where you were in your life at that point in the story.
Yeah.
It changed, like...
Yeah, when I was talking about my fearful state, I was like, "Arr!" And now I'm like, success, and now I'm just like relaxed.
Well, success, people have a different idea of what
success, but happiness.
But happiness.
Yeah,
because, that's how we define it.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes good to clarify what that means. It's not because... And you explain that. It's not because of the external. It's because of you've become internally.
Yeah. Dude, fuck everything else, man. Honestly, that's the truth. Like, nothing's worth it, man. If I could just, like, think about, like, for people watching this, like, think about any goal you have and why you're doing it. A lot of the times...
Why?
Yeah.
Why, baby?
Why? And that's something I didn't want to ask myself for so long, was why. Because I knew why I was doing things was for a lot of reasons that I didn't want to admit to myself. But really, everyone just wants to be happy at the end of the day. Why did I want to be a millionaire when I was 15, 16 years old? Because I wanted to be happy. And so just going directly to that feeling instead of waiting for these external things is, you're shortening. I was able to shorten the time of all these things manifesting by so much, because by just being happy, the thing I wanted came in a second, because I already got the end result of being happy. So the manifestation, the 3D plane catches up. The thing on the outside catches up to the person. And that's what happened with me. And I saw it in my own life, and I saw it with you too. I see it with all the people around me that follow the same principles. That things catch up once I step into my state that I choose to be in. Everything else comes easy. So it's it's a beautiful thing.
And on that beautiful note.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Love you too.
And we love you guys.
We love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in. We're very grateful for the love and enthusiasm and progression that we even saw within you and myself from a fearful state of starting this journey.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long ago it was, maybe an hour ago.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? But this journey that we went through, and I'm grateful for the growth that we are doing right now. Now.
Dude, I'm grateful for the growth we had in this past hour. Like, look, we're completely different. Look at our energy.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, whatever. Like, this is the energy that creates, man.
And I'm grateful for this beautiful room. And
This is the meditation room.
Yeah, this is our meditation room, but now it's become the podcast room.
Yeah.
And also we're inviting Justine here tomorrow. We're having our meeting tomorrow with Justine.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Thought we were going to go out to eat, but okay.
Mm-hmm. So I think we'll start having some more meetings here, and it just sets the vibe, it sets the energy. And we'll keep investing into this space.
Yeah.
And investing into our own energy and really, really excited. So I'm sure some of you guys watching, we're excited to meet with you guys, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will have the opportunity to come into this space and talk to us. So we're excited to really build this community, and we're not really sure what exactly the community is at this point, but
yeah, just like the deals that come from out of nowhere, the community will come in a way that we don't expect it.
But what we do know is this community is based in love, in gratitude, in growth.
A lot of growth. Oh, one last thing before we leave.
Yeah.
Right before me and Evan made the choice to start the brokerage, I was like in such a state of happiness, and in my head I was like, oh, I'm done with real estate. I want to help people achieve this level of happiness. I want to help people grow, and I wanted to be like this personal development coach. And in my meditations, I would imagine myself being on a stage, like speaking and like helping other people with this stuff that we're talking about. And then Evan brought up a good point. He was like, dude, you're being attached to that now instead of being attached to the real estate. I was like, fuck, I am being attached to this, And commercial real estate was right in front of me, and it was such a good opportunity that I just let go of that personal growth guru stuff, and I was like, all right, commercial real estate, the universe is bringing me this, I'm doing it. So me and Evan started creating the company, and we brought on our first employee, but it started getting really interesting. Like for our website, we put love and enthusiasm in real estate. So I started seeing like how the personal growth work that I wanted to be in is really, we're bringing it into the real estate stuff. And in our team meetings, we started sharing about every meeting we'd be like, okay, what are we grateful for? We'd all share what we're grateful for. And I realized Leah, our first employee, really cares about her growth. So I started coaching her and helping her on a lot of these things that we're talking about and teaching her about these things. And so the realization hit me while we were, in the company, that wait, like this personal growth stuff that I wanted to do, that I'm actually doing it now, and I can grow in it with the real estate stuff. And that was crazy. So it's like, again, like I let go of something and it comes right to me like in such a fantastic way. And now it's even happening deeper with this podcast and all this stuff that's happening. So just another example of how just letting go, being happy in the moment, and going with what the universe brings creates powerful things. And it's so powerful, man. So I'm very, very looking forward to sharing all these new things that we've been learning, and to have a community of growth and development and people that value happiness and love and gratitude and people that are awakening. Honestly, man, it's such a powerful community. So
beautiful. It is a beautiful community.
It is.
It's here and it's now.
It's here and it's now, baby.
And I'm excited to see how this manifests on the 3D plane.
Yeah, me too. We'll be looking back at this video in a few months and being like, damn, dude, look at that. It happened, So
it's here. It's now. The deal closed, baby.
The deal closed.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. Enjoy your day. Have a beautiful one. Enjoy your day. I think I'm gonna go outside for a little walk. It's beautiful.
Me too. After I eat, I've been fasting for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Take my big meal, baby.
Well, there we go.